Hi everyone, welcome back. And I just wanted to be able to do this introduction because part of my video that I had done for this just didn't record correctly, so I had to erase it. And I wanted to be able to introduce this to you. I am not trying to be a cookie person, but some of the things that I am doing to help with my budget in stretching things is with cooking, and I wanted to just introduce you to my mom's chili as part of my budget friendly cooking recipes that are helping me to stretch my budget. Anyway, I hope everybody's doing well. I hope you enjoy this. Thanks for watching. So I think it's important to share that I have this empty can. I had some collagen powder in here, and it's a plastic can or plastic jar, whatever you want to call it. Sometimes I don't know what the words, but I don't want the juices from the kidney beans. I've got dark kidney beans and light kidney beans, light red kidney beans, and I also have the whole peeled potatoes. Now all of that will go in there. I have to put it in a different container so that I can squeeze it. Normally we would do it in the pan itself, but since I'm using the pan to brown up and cook the ground beef, I have to do it this way. But anyway, these need to be emptied. And I don't need the juices from these kidney beans down in my tank. And it's not a holding tank because it's not holding water. It's actually letting the gray water to go out. So gray water tank, I guess is what you would call it. And so I don't want this juice from these sitting in here. So I'm going to empty these out into here, and then they'll get rinsed out really well afterwards too. Hopefully that makes sense. A cool little discovery is that if I set this in here just right, then this can just sit over that and drain out. And I can do that with each of the cans while I stir the ground beef or do whatever else I need to do. One of the other things I wanted to share is that I did buy a 2.25 or 2¼ pound package of ground beef for this. So I took about 1.5 pounds of this out, and that's going to leave at least enough for 2 hamburgers that I can put away in my freezer for another day. It's funny, as I'm sitting and I'm putting these tomatoes in the bowl to squish them with my hands, I remember when I was little and my mom was having me do this. Now, little means, 8, 9, 10, 11, right in that area. And every time she made it, I was the one that had to squeeze the tomatoes, take the cans and empty them out, and then fill them up with water. It always boggled my mind. Why did my mom do that? Pour all of that stuff out and then fill up the cans with water. But as I've grown older, I understand. But now it's time to squeeze the tomatoes because of the size of this bowl that I have. Rather than pulling out a bigger one, I'm just going to take and do a few of them at a time and then add them to the ground beef and onions. I am so glad I put those in that bowl to squeeze because, look at the mess. When you squeeze them and break them open, they pop open. And so, fortunately, that helped keep my mess to a minimum. It would have been better to put them in the pan like I did when I was younger, but I had the ground beef already going in there. So this is how I did it this time. The tomatoes are now mixed in, and I'm looking at this. When my mom did this chili, she was feeding myself and 2 brothers. And one brother could sit and eat a whole chicken in one meal, which was just totally 100% amazing. But anyway, so they had pretty good appetites. This is rather small. I think my mom's Dutch oven, or her pot, was about twice as big as this. But so right now I'm going to just start with just the 1 can of the tomatoes, and then I'm going to be putting in 3 cans of the beans. I'm going to start with 1 dark and 2 of the light color, the light red kidney beans. And then add the water and see how it looks. I might need to add some more tomato before adding that last can of kidney beans. Let's see how it goes. Okay, here it is with the tomatoes, that 1 can of tomatoes and 2 cans of the light color, the light red kidney beans, and 1 can of dark kidney beans. I think I'm going to go ahead and add the other can of dark and add more tomato. Maybe not. Maybe I'll just add the kidney beans. And then I'll taste it because I can always add tomato to it, but I also need to add spices to it. So let that get going. I need to add water. This will be totally 100% full once the water is added. So let me get on that. All right, that is pretty full with those juices from the kidney beans. And I did use all 4 cans. 2 of the dark red kidney beans and 2 of the light red kidney beans. Okay, there it is with the water. There's about 2 cans measure of water for the big can of tomatoes, and put that in there. But now I've also added the chili pepper, a little bit of cayenne pepper. I like mine a little bit hotter than my mom did. And I did put in a little touch of white pepper, and then some salt. And so while it's cooking, I'll be tasting and I'll be adding as it's needed to get that right flavor. I don't want to have too much. It's easier to start with little and add a little bit, because once you add some, you can't take it out, and any good cook will tell you that. So I'll let you know how it comes out. Okay, I'm sitting down and letting that chili cook right now, and it's going to be cooking for a few hours in order to get that right flavor. But I thought I would record this, and then I will record the time that I actually take it off and eat it for the first time. Oh, that's right. I watched Pot Never Boils. It's only been a half hour, but it's on very low heat and it's stirring, and I can hear it. I've stirred it a couple of different times, tasted it, add a touch more chili powder to it, and it'll be a couple hours yet. But anyway, I just thought I'd just put that in there just for kicks. Watch Pot Never Boils. Okay, here it is, 9:14, about 4 hours later from when I last left off. And so the soup is ready. I'm using a bowl I had earlier. I had to have a little something. I couldn't wait till this was done. But I didn't have the chili until now. And I'm having it with a glass of some unsweet tea. And I wanted to go over the budget of this. I figured out that the ground beef was at $2.25 a pound. Or I'm sorry, $11.23 a pound. It was 2 pounds and 2.25. Oh my goodness, learn to talk. It was 2.25 pounds at $11.23 per package. And so that turned out to be about $4.99 per pound. And I used about 1.5 pounds. So that was $7.47. Then I had the peeled tomatoes in the can. They were $1.48 each. So that was $2.96. And then the light red kidney beans were 86 cents each. So that was $1.72. Also, the dark red kidney beans were also 86 cents a can. So that was another $1.72. 1 large sweet onion. I just bought some, and so I figured it out for the number that were in there. It ended up being about 57 cents per onion. So that came to a total of $14.44. And I figured I would add part of the tip because it was a delivery, and so there was a tip involved. So I just added $1 for that. So that ended up being $15.44 to make that large pan of chili. And now, of course, the spices, but there wasn't a lot of spices, and that was kind of hard to figure. So let's say that was $16, but nonetheless. So if I only got 12 bowls out of that, now this is the bowl that I usually use, and this is only about half full. Well, it's a little more than half, but anyway, so if I did 12 of those bowls, that would end up being $1.29 a bowl. That's a pretty good cost. And then if I had bread and butter with it and things like that. But anyway, my home smells like it did when I was a little girl growing up, working with my mom to make this chili. I know that there's got to be something missing, but for the most part, it tastes really, really good. I don't think it tastes as good as Mom's, but it's well on the way. And so I hope that you guys enjoyed watching this. This is a way of stretching out the budget using these canned goods and this meat and still having everything that you need, because there's starch, and of course the tomato really isn't a vegetable, but we'll just say it that it is. But nonetheless, in the beans, that's good protein. Of course, the ground beef is good protein. And so all around, it's a very good meal. I hope everybody is doing well. I hope you're having a good day. Take care. Oh, and if you like this, please give me a thumbs up.